I see your face already all twisted up.
What you doing ain't making us no money. So you gotta stop that. And the only way to stop that is not to give anybody an inch.
He said, I should be able to comment on any part of the body that is exposed.
Now I kind of have a work husband, and I didn't even ask for one.
A work
Okay.
husband. Come on, baby.
I was learning. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, look. In case people are wondering, we're about to react to Patrice O'Neal. Now, Miss O'Shun here has not. This is Lola, by the way. Welcome to Vic and Lola. I'm Vic.
And I'm Lola.
For a show. We didn't practice that, but Patrice O'Neal is a comedian. Because I want to do my man some justice. He's a very strong comedian who passed recently, and I'm gonna get you the date of his death and his age, and we'll go from there.
He's on Wikipedia?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, okay.
Patrice O'Neal, you may have seen him in the Player Haters Ball skits of the Dave Chappelle Show. He's been in other things. He's been performing since 1992. Dane Cook witnessed one of O'Neal's earliest sets and noticed his gentle giant appeal. He already had edge, but he was a little more vulnerable. O'Neal developed his act in Boston for the next 6 years, where his earlier performances were done under the name Bruiser O'Neal. In the mid-1990s, he met a later close friend named Jim Norton. Now, I think they are the ones that had the podcast. He comes from a podcast that a lot of people may know called The Black Phillip Show, or Opie and Anthony. If you've ever heard of Opie and Anthony. And some people, they're a little controversial. But okay. He was born on 1969. He died at age 41. November 29th, 2011. Yep, he died in 2011, and he is sometimes unofficially considered the father of the red pill. And there's a lot of people who love the red pill or don't care for it at all. Very heavy brow action at the red pill. And it was before they were calling it red pill. He didn't coin that term, but the culture of not MGTOW, but very much so men being men. The reestablishment of what is considered toxic masculinity. And he's very, very comfortable in acknowledging the positives and the negatives of the masculine culture. So, maybe we'll react to some of the other things where he's more serious. This is actually going to be his last stand-up that he did. It's called The Elephant in the Room. So
I haven't seen it. So if you want to stop at a certain point just to check in, I have never seen this. I'm very new to this name. So I'm as they say, a virgin in the red pill space.
Like a virgin for the very first. Hey, so yeah, let's get into it.
Congratulations to you, my friend. Look at that white woman you're with. God damn. That white woman's amazing, isn't she? Tell the truth. He's with his black girlfriend, like, no, I don't know, but she's high level. That's a high level white woman right there. Black women get mad at that, but that is top shelf white woman right there. You know how you can tell how pretty a white woman is? The value, you look at her and then you wonder how long they would look for if she was missing.
All right, before we go on, I see your face already all twisted up. Now, he touches every subject, okay? He's very good with relationship, but he goes into race and everything else. So, did you have something you wanted to react to in the first 2 minutes?
Well, okay, so he mentions about the value of a white woman being how fast someone would look for her if she went missing. I think there's a lot of historical context there to which I get it, he's making light, but that is not a light subject matter.
Okay, so two things. One, um, he's not making a comparison between white women going missing and black women going missing. He's saying that you can tell the value of a white woman by how fast she is sought after and found, or how quick the search starts and or ends. So he's making a distinguishment between the value of white women, not the value of all women. But what's your impression of him in the first 2 minutes?
I can tell he doesn't care about how he's viewed from a racial perspective. He doesn't care.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's go ahead.
I saw you look mad, sweetie. How long, if you was missing, how long you think they were? How long you think they were? Exact. She don't even, she went. Remember football players in Miami went missing? They went sailing. They looked for them for 8 minutes. Maybe. They just sent somebody at the edge of the beach. I hate how much fun black people can have racially, man. It's just, I can say anything I goddamn want racially. And white people have to sit there and take it. I am evil, yes. It's like, come on, man. I don't even say it because of that. I love a little racial. Look, man, let's be fair. I mean, honesty be nicer with the racial game. I mean, I like to talk to white people about being honest about Obama. You gave it a shot. You did. You gave it a 2-year shot. Like, oh yeah, we tried to. I'm telling you, I'm this close to. I'm mad at him because I thought I would have a white slave by now. I thought it was Vengeance Day.
Okay.
All right.
That little switch around thing he just did, maybe it's my personality, but I don't feel, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I like how he just switched the whole slavery thing and he's talking about white people. Suddenly I just didn't feel comfortable. And I can imagine that white people, when people overtly make too many jokes about slavery and white people, on the other end, it would make them feel equally uncomfortable. But I don't like feeling uncomfortable like that. And I know he's talking about white people being slaves, but it's like when you reverse what happened to black people, it's not something anyone can be comfortable with. And like it is trauma filled. It will traumatize you just watching it, or listening to it. I say rather, but I I get it. It's a joke. It's to be taken lightly, but I don't take that lightly.
So I mean, we're not being politically correct. We're being real.
Right.
When you heard that it was official that we was gonna have this quote unquote black president, and he he wasn't Tupac, but he wasn't Carlton. And what were your expectations? Did you think that there was something that you were going to receive as a black person because all of a sudden we have a black president? Did you have
No,
any expectations?
I didn't. Actually, I expected him to die within the first year because Kennedy died the second year, I think. I expected him to die within the first year.
So you never expected him to get further enough to do anything. Did you? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I think I thought that him getting in there, if he could actually get sworn in without getting shot in the face, that meant something. And if he could live through his term and don't embarrass black people, he did his job, which is why I voted for him the first time, regardless of whatever policies he was supposed to come with. And as long as he just held the ship in the road, he didn't have to take us in any particular direction, win any wars or start none. But as long as he didn't make a fool of us as black people, and give people talking points to throw in our face, to make it to where there could never be another black president because it's see we gave y'all a raise, y'all fucked it up. So I think whether he accomplished anything in particular for a black agenda, he did his job, because not only did he get 2 terms, but there's children that were born in 2008 is when he started. 2008. All the children born in 2008 to 2016, all they know is a black president. The first 8 years of life, that's all they ever seen, is known their world to have a black president. So when I was a child and they say you could be president,
it's just, it doesn't make me sick more than somebody 40 and say they in school. Like, what you doing? I mean, I'm going to school.
You gotta stop. That ain't right.
You're never too young, and never too old, and never too. All bunch of sayings. The older you are, shut the fuck. Pussy, man. Come on, man. Let's go steal bread. We used to go steal bread and lunch meat from the supermarket and make sandwiches and sell them during typing class. And now I can't type. Spell restaurant. To this day, right? To save my mama's life. Like if somebody held my mama hostage and had a gun to her head, right? It says, nigga, spell restaurant. You know, like, I'll shoot your mother in the head. I'll be like, I would look at my mother like, I love you. She'd be like, look at me, Mom. She's crying. Understand that I love you with all my heart. It's a rescue. Ruin. It's an A or U or U. All right, give me another word, man. Give me another word. One more word. All right, banana. B-A-N. B-A-N-N. A-N-N-N. Is there like 7 N's in banana? B-A-N-N-N-N-N. A-N-N.
Yeah, he didn't graduate. He did not graduate.
anything on your ability to spell?
In to the no.
I need you to spell restaurant right now, or we gonna break up.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know how to spell, but I inherited that from my father. We have spelling issues. Remember I told you that like a long time ago?
You inherited that. Okay, yeah. That was all right. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave it right there.
Yeah, I inherited that. I inherited several other talents from my grandparents, but that was one that I inherited. That's not technically a talent, but I did inherit that. That is not my fault, sir.
Oh, hot damn. I didn't know you could inherit spelling.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, my father is terrible at spelling, but I inherited that from him. My mother is a whiz at spelling. She can spell anything. She taught me Latin connections but spelling is something I just cannot get.
Me and my partner, we was ill. Like we was mischievous, but we was both very good in school. As far as like we were smart. So we had the spelling bee and that had to be elementary school. My partner ended up winning, but I was in there and we was going head up. You know what I'm saying? We was dogging them up. We were like, these little motherfuckers getting it in. But they got me out. They got me out because I second guessed myself. That's why I learned never second guess myself. Mm-hmm. Guess what the word was?
What?
Now I'm gonna see if you can spell it. Clipping.
CLIPPING.
I second guessed the second P.
You second guessed the second P.
Because I was like, I feel like it's two P's in there. And then I was looking at the crowd and they was looking at me. And I felt like somebody was mouthing like, no, nigga, no, don't say another P. Don't say another P. And I was like, ING. They was like, no, that's not correct. And she said, CLIPPING. I knew that shit. But then my partner went up there and killed that shit. So
well, I think what it is what you had is the issue in the English language, which is why it's so hard to learn it. Is because, for instance, like erase, you can hear almost two R's, but there's no two R's. Some words you can hear the constant twice, but technically it's only spelled once. And other ones like clipping, you hear it twice, and it actually is spelled twice. So I understand why you got that wrong, because that is an issue in the English language.
Think about it. There's clipping or clipping. We don't pronounce it clipping. You pronounce it clipping. Like you don't really, you know what I'm saying? So it's whatever. But yeah, fuck that, yo. I can spell for both of us, okay?
Like, ladies, let's discuss. Hey, look, let's discuss harassment for a second. Let's just, you feel it a little bit? Like, let's just discuss it. Why can't I harass you? Sometimes. I can never harass you, never. And I'm not talking about, like, I'm talking just, at the job. It's unfair that I can't harass you at the workplace. Like, you looking how you looking, and I can't just a little something that has to do, like, you got to be careful just to say, hey, you look beautiful today. That's how messed up the game is. I think you should be able to comment on any part of the body that you see. If you, I'm serious. What's your name? What's your name? Jeannie. Now, Jeannie, no disrespect, but if I work with you, I should be able to walk in and go, oh, Jeannie, beautiful titty meat you have there. And because I see that, but whatever the scientific term is, I'm looking at Mr. A 4.9 grade point average. What's the science term for the titty meat? What's the actual? And it's not the cleavage. I mean, the cleavage is the space in the middle. I'm talking about the meat, the meat, the titty part. And I'm not being foul, just, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can go through the rest of the day without pretending that I don't see. Which you understand what I'm saying? I mean, let's work out a deal. Don't get me fired. having women work with men, right, is like having a grizzly bear work with salmon. Dipped in honey. Like, so now you dip the salmon in the honey, right? Grizzly bears, and the salmon get to walk through comfortable with honey and fish and good morning, grizzly bears. And the grizzly bears is like, hey, you can't even growl like, what's up, fish? Oh my God, human resources. The grizzly bear just did grizzly bear stuff. So, like, I can't even go, hey, good morning, fish, good morning. Oh, I can't touch it. Like, oh, look at that. Oh, let me just get a little bit of that fish, a little bit. Get that honey. Oh my God. Fish and honey, man. That's my favorite. Usually I kill fish and eat them and stuff, but I just wanted to just rub a little bit of that. God damn. That's oppressive. Like, you shouldn't even, and there's cameras everywhere. You can't do like weird stuff behind her back. Like,
Okay, so can we
why
pause?
would it be disrespectful? I said, what's your name? Terrell. If I go, hey, Terrell, we work together. And I go, Terrell, hey, do me a favor. Let me know when you're getting up to go to the bathroom so I can sniff your chair.
Okay. So, okay. So here's what I want to say so far. This is in part one, why people say men and women can't be in close proximity. One. Two, this is the argument that women have had since the suffrage period, that they can't go anywhere without feeling fearful because men naturally are averse to them. Okay. But then on the flip side, men have argued, well, this is how we are. Women shouldn't be around. Women should be at home, not around men because of this. So, there's, I guess, people on the more moderate side that would say, well, it's okay for men to be men. But when people come to work, people are at work to work. They're not at work to carry on the way that they carry on in their private lives. So now men can't necessarily just do whatever they want to do. They have to do what is, let's say, befitting of the circumstance. And working around women now is a different culture.
So what he made is a caveat. One, he said, why can't I harass you?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes.
Okay.
And two, the second caveat is that he said, I should be able to comment on any part of the body that is exposed. Nice makeup, nice shoulder, okay, nice legs. If you exposing it in its purest form, clearly you don't mind me seeing it. Should I have to pronounce? I can't talk about your covered breast. I can't talk about your covered legs. I can't talk about your vagina and your butt because these things are covered. But if you exposing them, why you want me to pretend like I can't see what I see? Now, so there's a give and take. If you want respect, and this is what these women are being told, or should be being told, how to carry themselves everywhere, not just the workplace. If you don't want men to treat you in a certain way and you want a certain level of respect, then you should carry yourself with a certain level of respect. There was a time that a woman who cared for respect dressed a certain way because she cared about what other women thought of her, what society thought of her, that she would be called a loose woman or be confused with a whore or a lady of the night. She didn't want to be confused. Now there's no distinguishing. Like outside of Clear Hills, I don't know what a stripper is versus a girl going to the club on a Saturday night. I can't tell the difference. So at the end of the day, those lines have been blurred, and to the point where there used to be certain dress codes. You had to have a skirt this long. You had to wear this. You had to be covered up. You couldn't have your titties and your cleavage out. Cleavage was a big thing when I was coming up. A little bit of cleavage, less more. A fucking big U-shaped shirt. You know, I'm like, that shit was unheard of. Women would wear dickies. You know what a dickie is?
I think so.
It's like the little half shirt. Like, it's not even a full shirt. It just goes up under something so that it would cover up your cleavage, but you wouldn't have to wear a full shirt up under whatever the hell. So at the end of the day, you know, these things, a woman could wear a slip so that you could not see all her undergarments and things like that, because they were conscious of that. These devices existed. Now they played out. Pantyhose is played out. All this shit is played out because this new generation has chosen to shy away from those things, but they still want classical or traditional levels of respect given in and out of the workplace.
I see what you're saying, but in principle, it doesn't. In principle, it doesn't mean it doesn't line up, because you're saying if a piece of your body is exposed, one should be able to comment on what they should see, right? However, you know, your freedom of speech isn't that's not what that is. You see what I'm saying? And two, okay, a man's face is not covered. Should I be able to walk up to men and say obscenities about their face because their face is exposed?
Obscenities? I don't think that's the right way to
It's how I feel. If I walk up to a man and say anything, your face looks like I should spit on it, or your face
First
is.
of all, we're talking about compliments. We're talking about compliments. We're not talking about insults. You shouldn't be able to hurl insults at anybody, know whether it's exposed or not. If you don't have nothing good to say, then you shouldn't say it. But if you have something good to say, if you came up to me and say, you know what, I like your skin tone. I like how your face looks. I like how you got that line. I like how you got that lined up, player. You should be able to do that.
Okay, you're saying you should be able to do it, but it's not based in anything that's equivalent. We're talking about seeing a body part and having the freedom to speak your mind. Speaking your mind isn't reserved for certain thoughts, not other thoughts. That's not how it works. If you allow someone to speak their mind, that's exactly what you're doing. And that's how humans are. You're going to let them speak, they're going to speak, and they might not always give you a compliment. But if the point is, if it's exposed, I should be able to say what I want to say.
We're assuming that everything that we're talking about, this is the baseline. I don't like to take the conversation over here. The baseline is that everything that we're saying is complimentary. You understand what I'm saying? Women don't have a problem or with men saying lewd shit like, what's up, itty bitty titty committee? That's not what's happening. People are saying, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I like that. They're not saying what they don't like. That's not what, like, hey, he's being mean to me. That's not the problem that we're speaking to. You know what I'm saying? Now, there may be some situations like that, but that ain't what we're talking about.
Well, I get that that's not what he's talking about, but in truth, we're talking about people being able to legally, freely speak their mind. And I know that that's not relegated to specific thoughts. It's like you can't tell someone you're free to speak a certain thought, but you're not free to speak another thought. Even though all thoughts are equal, we're going to tell you what thoughts we think you should say and which ones you don't, and when you should say. Now that doesn't sound like freedom.
You see, because if you was a woman who dressed a certain way, men would address you a certain way. And that wasn't as, like, if a woman is walking down the street and she's completely covered up, in those times, if a man violated her by speaking a certain way, aka speaking up under her clothes, and she's clearly a woman who deserved or was moving with class, then other men would interject on said man and say, hey, look, bro, that's a lady, yo. Respect her. This how she moving. She a class act. Don't treat her that way. Watch your mouth. They would check you. But if that same woman is walking down that same street in front of those same men, good and bad ones, and she got a thigh-high skirt on and her titties pressed up to the top with some fishnet stockings on, and the motherfucker said, hey, mama, hey, foxy lady, ain't nobody gonna say a fucking word. And those same gentlemen would have been out there that would have also corrected those people, but they wouldn't say a fucking word because they would assume that that woman was fishing for that kind of attention based on how she's dressed. So that's why I say in this generation, we have made this blanket for how women should be treated. But if you understand there's classes of women and people like to float in between those classes, and that's your option. If you want to be a lady today and a freak and a hoe tomorrow, you should have that right. But you shouldn't expect an equal amount of treatment as you go. And I think that's where the disconnect is.
If you don't know the mating ritual, if you don't understand the mating call, if you don't understand what a woman looks like when she likes you versus when she's interested in you, then in reality, whose fault is that? So it's like to say, do you want to fuck? It's kind of asinine.